Hello, friend. I'm Lisa.
Kuromi, I want a cute house of our own.
Okay, let's get started.
My chair.
Great idea to share is like this. Let's make this adorable. My Melody and Kuromi dollhouse together. Then I'm going to cover the bottom with a piece of cute wooden pattern paper.
Hi, I'm Melody. Let's make a room for me.
I'm starting with cardboard boxes, carefully making sure they are roughly the size I want for the bed and the desk. Next, I'm using some glue to carefully attach pink pattern paper all over each box until it's fully covered, making them cute and pink. I'm using a small piece of cardboard and cutting it into a rectangular shape, and then I'll cover it with some adorable pink fabric with white polka dots. Now I'm going to add a lace trim and then create the quilted cushion with clay and top it off with cute little clay flowers. Now I am pressing the clay with a flat, smooth object, making sure to press the clay down in a slow and even motion. Finally, I'm using a sharp blade to carefully trim the edges, making sure to follow the pattern to create a clean, defined shape and carefully removing the excess clay. For the edges of the bed, I'm using pink felt to create a ruffled look and adding tiny beads to give the bed a complete look. I'm starting by cutting a rounded rectangular shape out of cardboard. This will be the base for our headboard. Next, I'm covering the base with a thin layer of pink clay, molding it to create a smooth, even surface. Using white clay, I'm shaping a smaller oval to create the white area of my Melody's base, and carefully placing it onto the pink clay. I am creating small black ovals for my Melody's eyes and a cute yellow nose, placing them gently onto the white clay. Using markers, I'm carefully adding small lines and details, including my Melody's rosy cheeks and her cute little mouth. I'm taking my pink and white clay and creating tiny ovals and circles, then attaching them together to create my Melody's signature bow. Finally, I'm attaching the bow to the top of the head between her ears to complete the headboard.
I love it. Let's place it in the house.
I'm using a piece of yellow cardstock paper and cutting out two shapes of a duck, and then one rectangle which will serve as the shells. I will add the small rectangle piece in the middle to make shells and then attach everything together. Using pink clay, I'm creating a basic cup shape, and then using white clay to add the base for the faces. After molding the cup to my liking, I'll add eyes and nose and tiny details with black and yellow clay. I'm adding the details with markers and add tiny bows on the ears. I'm starting with a square piece of cardboard, covering it with a polka dot pattern using fabric and attaching it firmly to the cardboard base. Now I'm using white lace to trim the edges. And for the strap, I'm using a thin piece of pink clay. Lastly, I'm adding a cute 3D clay details. Then, I'm using a jump ring to attach to the strap to make it look like a purse.
I want to make a clock from this.
Okay, Melody. I am taking a piece of cardboard and cutting out a shape for our clock. Using pink clay, I cover the front of our clock and add a white clay circle. With markers, I added the details for the clock. And finally, I add a bead and some thread for the pendulum. To complete the look, I'm adding more markers and detail to the clock and the pendulum.
Let's hang it on. Get off my bed!
Don't cry, Kuromi. Melody, be nice. This bed has space for two of you. I am using some cardboard to create a rectangle base and some small triangles for the legs and attaching them together using glue. I'm taking some pink clay and making a rectangle shape. Then adding a white screen with another pink frame. Using clay, I am molding it into the computer shape I want. Then I'm using markers to add details for the keyboard, screen, and frame. Lastly, I am adding a stand. I'm taking a small ball of pink clay and kneading it thoroughly to make it soft and easy to work with. I'm taking my blade and gently pressing it onto my clay keyboard to add the detail of the keys, making sure the lines are evenly spaced. For the seat of the chair, I'm cutting out a small rectangular piece. Then, with some clay, I'm adding details for the bow on the chair.
My chair! My chair!
Great idea to share is like this. I'm taking pink clay and making a small bowl. Then I am taking some white clay to outline the edges of the toilet and also create the seat. Using markers, I am giving the toilet a face, and then finishing it off by adding a pink ribbon along the bottom of it. I am creating a small box shape out of cardboard and using glue to secure it into place. Then I'm covering the cabinet in bright colors using paper and a print of Melody. To finish the look, I'm adding small colored paper details and beads for the door handles. Using clay, I'm creating a mini tub shape. Taking extra care in shaping it, and I'm using tools to give it a textured look. Next, I am using some pink clay to create a curvy spout shape. Once everything is connected, I'm adding some beads and small clay pieces for extra detail. Next, I will show you how to make a Melody's mirror with cardboard and paper.
I love the Kuromi sleepers!
Using cardboard, I'm creating a rectangle shape and then I'm adding a staircase to one side. Then I'm covering each step with glitter cardstock, using all the colors of the rainbow to create my staircase. Lastly, I'm adding small beads to the sides of my staircase for a bit of charm.
Lisa, let's make the sofa from this!
Now, using the cardboard template, I'm cutting out two identical pieces from black felt. This will be the front and back of Kuromi's face. Then I'm taking a piece of white felt and molding it onto the black face and adding all the key details. I will cut out the shapes of the eyes and mouth using felt. Now I'm going to use markers to add the details to the facial features of Kuromi. Finally, I'm adding two small beads for the nose and two small bows for the ears. I am making a cardboard structure for the base, ensuring that the shape looks like a sofa. I'll use soft purple felt to cover the sofa, giving it a plush look and adding purple pom-poms along the edges of the sofa. I'm cutting up small pieces of purple fabric and filling them up with fluffy material and then adding them to my sofa.
Let's recycle this, Lisa.
I'm using some bottle caps to make the base of my tiny table. Finally, I'm mixing the slime with the rainbow glitter and foam balls, so it can be filled in the pool. For the rainbow pool, I'm using clay to create a cylindrical container and cover it with a clay that's shaped like a brick.
The Jellyfish Fairy and the Voiceless Prince, the Kingdom of Blue Water and the Mysterious Curse. Long ago, deep in the ocean, there existed a kingdom called Blue Water, where coral reefs shined brightly like gem gardens. Dolphins sang every morning, and majestic seahorses patrolled like cavalry. Surrounding the kingdom were tall
Lisa, make me a
coral
house.
walls,
Okay.
protecting the people from fierce waves and sea
So
monsters.
beautiful.
The king of Blue Water, Jade Sea King, was a just ruler, but his heart bore a deep pain. Prince Lon, his only son,
So
had
cute.
been unable to speak since birth. The day Lon was born, the sky above the sea was pitch black. Thunder and lightning intertwined, and a sea witch appeared before the palace. She had been exiled from Blue Water by the king for using dark magic. Her eyes flashed with anger as she said, "The day this child speaks for the first time will be the day the sea loses a pure soul." From then on, Prince Lon grew up in a mixture of love and anxiety. No one dared to think of breaking the curse, fearing that a terrible price would be paid. The silent Prince Lon could not speak, but he had eyes that could tell stories. When happy, his eyes were as bright as stars, reflecting on the waves. When sad, they were as deep as the dark abyss. He communicated through gestures, looks, and sometimes drawings on the coral sand. Although he was a prince, Lon was not arrogant. He often dived outside the coral walls to explore, talked to dolphins, and helped creatures trapped in fishing nets. But the kingdom was still a golden cage. No one dared let the prince go too far. The first meeting with the Jellyfish Fairy. One day, while swimming farther than usual, Lan got lost in the misty bay, where light hardly penetrated and the water was always covered in a white mist. There, in the middle of the mist, he saw a soft pink light like the sunset. From that light, a young woman appeared. She wore a dress made of transparent silk threads. Her long white hair reached her waist. Her skin shimmered as if covered in a thin layer of mist. Around her floated soft, glowing tentacles. But they were not scary at all, but rather like the silk ribbons of a giant jellyfish. "I am
So
Mira,
beautiful.
the Jellyfish Fairy of the Sea. And who are you?" she said in a voice as soft as the sound of waves. Lon did not answer, only smiled slightly and placed his hand on his chest, bowing. With a few gestures, he let Mira know that he could not speak. Mira did not laugh or show pity. She smiled. "It's okay. Waves don't need words to sing."
Amazing.
From that day on, They met more often. Mira led Lon through the shimmering seaweed forests, taught him how to listen to the sound of seashells telling stories, how to feel the rhythm of the ocean currents. Even though he couldn't speak, Lon never felt like he was missing anything, until he realized he wanted to tell Mira more than his eyes could convey. The curse revealed. One moonlit night, as the two of them lay on a coral reef watching the moonlight through the water, Mira heard the whisper of a school of silver fish swimming by. To break the curse, find the moonlight pearl, a pearl that only appears once every 100 years on a full moon night on Breathing Rock Peak. But Mira also knew that Breathing Rock Peak was in the middle of the territory of the night squid, a giant, fierce, and intelligent 8-tentacled monster. For generations, no one dared to come near. When Mira told him that, Lon's eyes lit up. He pointed to his chest and then to the rock peak on the sand map. He wanted to try. Mira hesitated, but finally nodded, because she knew she could not avoid it forever. Journey through 3 trials. They began their journey at dawn, when the warm ocean currents from the south poured in. Trial 1, the silent vortex. The whirlpool was slow, but pulled everyone into an endless circle. Lon used a coral rope to tie himself to Mira, coordinating with the dolphins to create a reverse current to escape. Mira was surprised by Lon's quick thinking. No words were needed, but he conveyed his ideas through his eyes and actions. Trial 2, parasitic algae forest. The long strands of algae had the ability to wrap around and absorb living energy. Mira was trapped, the light from her body fading. Lon risked his life to cut the algae with a sharp piece of shell, his hand bleeding. Mira felt her heart flutter for the first time for another person. The third trial, the Cave of Echoes, a cave where every sound is amplified tenfold, leaving the intruder stunned. Lon is unaffected, for he has lived his entire life in silence. He leads Mira through safely, and for the first time she thinks, perhaps his silence is his strength. The breathing rock and the night. Finally, the breathing rock appears as a giant mass of rock breathing rhythmically. Each time it erupts into a white foam. At the top, the moonlight shines down on a single point of light, the moonlight pearl, which is sparkling. But before they could reach, a dark figure slithered out from the abyss. The night squid opened its crimson eyes, its tentacles sweeping out, creating waves like an underground storm. Land immediately blocked Mira's way, pushing her away, but was tightly wrapped by one of the tentacles. Sacrifice!
Whoa!
Mira screamed. In that moment, she remembered the jellyfish light spell, the ultimate power that could only be used once in a lifetime to save people. In return, she would turn into sea foam and disappear. She knew. If she used it, she would never see Lon again. But seeing him being squeezed, his eyes still strong, Mira knew she had her answer. She glowed brightly, the pink light spreading across the bottom of the sea, illuminating even the darkest corners. The monster roared, retreated, and disappeared into the abyss. But Mira was gradually becoming transparent. Her hair, her skin, her dress, all melted into the rays of light. In that moment, the unexpected happened. Lon burst into tears and called out, "Mira!" The call echoed throughout the breathing rock peak. The curse was broken. From Lon's heart fell a drop of light, crystallized from love and loss. Resurrection. The drop of light touched the ground, transforming into the moonlight pearl. Lon trembled and hugged it, whispering the words he had never said in his life. Words of thanks, words of apology, and words of love. When the pearl merged into his heart, Mira reappeared. But she was no longer a jellyfish fairy, but a sea girl. Pink eyes, white hair like waves, warm skin. She smiled. Now you have a voice. Use it to protect the sea and to say the things you have never dared to say. Eternally under the pink jellyfish. They returned to Tui Lam. Ngoc Hai Vuong held his son in his arms, then knelt before Mira to thank her. Lan told the story, and from then on, Mira became the princess of the sea. Every full moon night, thousands of pink jellyfish shine across the sea as a reminder that love and sacrifice can break any curse. And Lan, from a silent prince, now becomes a future king with a loud voice, not only to give orders, but also to tell stories about the jellyfish fairy who sacrificed her existence to save a soul. The last leaf of the jade tree. The village by the silver lake. Once upon a time, in a lush green valley, there was a small village located next to the silver lake. The water surface was as clear as a mirror, reflecting the blue sky and the floating clouds. In the middle of the village grew a giant jade tree. The trunk was as big as 10 adult arms. Its leaves were as green as if covered with jade. The strange thing was that every night the leaves emitted a gentle light, like the full moon shining down on the village. That light helped the rice grow well, the fruits were sweet, and the fish in the lake were countless. The villagers believed that the tree was a gift from the stream god, the guardian spirit of this place. The person who looked after the tree was Lila, an orphan since childhood. Her grandmother raised Lila, taught her how to take care of the tree. Every morning she used the dew on the lotus leaves to water the tree's roots. Every night she sang an ancient song to let the leaves sleep peacefully. Leela loved the tree like a close friend, often sitting against the tree reading books or telling stories alone. The omen of drought. One year, the drought lasted for a long time. There was no rain. The silver lake gradually dried up, revealing the cracked white sand bottom. The jade tree began to lose its leaves early. The village elders said, "When the last leaf of the tree falls, darkness will engulf the village. The crops will wither, and the silver lake will disappear forever." At first, the villagers thought it was superstition, but Lila did not. She clearly saw the leaves turning yellow day by day. The nightlight weakening. She was worried, but did not know what to do. Lila's dream. One night, when Lila slept under the tree, she dreamed of a firebird with red wings flying towards her. Its eyes were deep, as if it knew everything. The bird said, "The last leaf can only live if it has 3 drops of water from the spring of time. They are in 3 places: the endless wind cave, the talking stone forest, and the moon dragon falls. You have 3 days before the leaf falls." Lila woke up and felt her hand warm as if it had just touched the bird's wing. She believed it was a sign from the spring god. Unable to wait, she stuffed a glass jar, some dried bread, and a fallen jade leaf into her pocket to use as a talisman. The journey to find the drop of water. First place, endless wind cave. The cave was located on a high cliff. The cave mouth was pitch black as if swallowing the light. When Lila entered, the wind howled fiercely, blowing her hair and skirt, pushing her back. Remembering her grandmother's words, Lila took out the jade leaf and tied it to her chest. The green light from the leaf created a thin barrier around her, helping her go deeper.
So cute!
In the middle of the cave, she saw a silver flower growing between the rocks. On the petals of the flower was a sparkling drop of water, the first drop. She carefully caught it in a jar, then heard the wind chuckle. Those who persevere will find their way. The second place, the talking stone forest. This forest had no trees, only rocks. The rocks had many shapes. Some looked like faces, some looked like giant hands. When Lila entered, whispers rang out. Whoever enters my forest must answer a riddle to continue. They asked, "What grows bigger the more you take it away?" Lila thought and answered, "A hole." "What travels all over the world but stays in the same place?" "A stamp." The rocks nodded, opening the way for her. In the center of the forest, Lila saw the oldest rock. On top of it was a transparent drop of water. She gently took the second drop. Third place, Moon Dragon. Waterfall. The waterfall is located at the end of the valley, appearing only under the full moon. The water falls like silver silk. The foam is white, but the way up the waterfall is blocked by a water snake as big as a house pillar. Its eyes are cold and green. If you want to pass, you must offer your most precious thing. Lila looked at the jade leaf, the only thing connecting her to the tree. Her heart ached, but then she put the leaf in the snake's hand. "If you exchange it for saving the whole tree, I will offer it." The snake took it, dissolving into silver mist, leaving behind the last drop of water. The leaf comes back to life. When Lila returned, it was just dawn on the third day. The jade tree was bare, with only one yellow leaf left, trembling in the wind. Without hesitation, she poured 3 drops of water on the tree's base. Immediately, the roots glowed, the light spread up the trunk and radiated to the leaves. The last leaf turned from yellow to green, emitting an unprecedentedly powerful light. The dark clouds cleared, rain fell on the silver lake, and the water filled up again. The people were overjoyed and held a festival for 7 days to give thanks. The Keeper of the Leaves. From then on, the villagers honored Lila as the Keeper of the Leaves, the one who looked after the jade tree and protected the silver lake. They carved 3 drops of water on a stone pillar in the middle of the village to remind them. Some things must be sacrificed to be kept forever. And every autumn, when the leaves began to fall, Lila would tell this story to the children so that they would understand that courage and sacrifice are the greatest miracles.
Woohoo!
Okay.